and Sunshine Boys.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's just pure racism, isn't it? The Caribbeans, you know.
You know, it was something that Dave Bond and myself put together. McManus and Logan, the biggest villain tag team in this country, was retiring, and I had finished tagging with Quango a few years before anyway. And I said to Dave, how would you like to make a name for yourself? Oh, right, just by becoming your tag partner. I said, no, don't be facetious. Now, that's a big word for me. Can you take being called names? Like Jungle Bunny, right? Nignog. All sorts of names we're going to get called. If you can take it, all well and good. If you can't, forget what I've said. He goes, no, what you got? I went, well, McManus and Logan retiring, we could snatch their place. We could be the biggest tag team in this country. Basically, for being the colour we are and bending the rules. But we will be called names, you know. As long as it goes in one ear, out the other, all well and good. Let's go for it. I said, fine. So we trained together for a little while, and we did get called some names, and we had some better fights out of the ring than we did in. You know. But 11 months, that's all we was allowed to tag for.
Yeah, I've got some questions about your court cases of when during that time period and things. So, right, just before we move into the latter stages, you bleached your hair. Like we said, you travelled all over the world. I remember you telling me one particular story when you came out here. Tell us about your trip to Spain.
Gil Esparza, the promoter in Spain, for years I'd been trying to get out to Spain to wrestle, but a lot of the boys sport it because they used to go out there on holiday and just wrestle occasionally, get a little bit of money to cover their expenses in Spain while they're having their holiday. So they didn't want to pay good money for wrestlers going out there to work only. And Gil just didn't want to pay, so I said, fine, all right, we left it at that. And a few years after me, keep trying for a few years to get out there, and then I didn't phone him at all for a few years. He phoned me and said, like, would you come out? I said, but Gil, you don't want to pay the money I want. He said, what do you want? And I told him. He says, you're extortionate. I went, no, I'm not. I'm a professional wrestler, and that's what I want. You know, I'm not coming out for a holiday. I'm coming out to wrestle. You know, okay. So I said, okay, fine. We settled on that. He said, it'd be good to have a black man with white hair. I said, Gil, I haven't got white hair. And he goes, but you must have white hair. I went, but I haven't got white hair. But you must have. I said, right, you want me to come out with white hair? Yes. I went, okay. Let's talk money again. Because if you want me to walk around with blonde hair again and look like an idiot, you've got to pay for it. You know, you're a mercenary. I went, absolutely. We come to an agreement, and I got what I wanted anyway. And I went out to Spain. A couple of Spanish wrestlers came up to me and said, you like publican reaction? I went, yes, yeah. Then you must make this. And he put his little finger and his thumb in the air, and the other fingers closed into a fist. And so you do this, he said, and you point to the publican and do this, both hands. I went, oh yeah. He says, and you get reaction. And if you win, you make again with one hand, thumb and finger, from your forehead, and to go to the publican. I went, oh yeah, okay. Not knowing what it meant or anything, you know. Now when you leave the dressing room to go to the ring, when you come down and you walk down the tunnel where the matadors come out, it's like a football tunnel where the players come out, yeah? You walk down the tunnel, you meet the police. You have 2 police in front of you and 2 police behind you to walk you to the ring. So, as soon as I come into the stadium and everybody sees me, I get the high-pitched whistles, I get all the bad words thrown at me because I'm wrestling a Spanish guy. You right? So I'm going to be the villain regardless. Get into the ring, all the abuse I'm taking, that's fine. I don't know what they're saying half the time. I take the first fall. I'm getting all these high whistles and everything. So I put my hands in the air with the thumb and the little finger out, and I'm going like this. And the police are tapping on the side of the ring saying, Senor, no, don't make this. I said, yeah, but listen to them. They're going crazy. And they were going crazy. When I actually beat the guy, I stood there with my foot on his chest, and I'd gone from the forehead, thumb and little finger up in the air again, pointing to the people. If it had a roof on that flaming stadium, it would have lifted. It would have lifted. I went, Jesus. The promoter left his seat in the stands, run down to the ring and said, Senor Johnny, don't make this very bad. Don't make this. I went, yeah, Gil, listen to them. They've gone crazy, man. Listen. I'm ecstatic. There's most heat I've ever got in my life. I get out the ring. I've got 2 police in front, 2 police behind. And I'm walking back towards the tunnel. As we approached the tunnel, the police disappeared. And I thought, they know something that I don't. You've got people standing or sitting above the tunnel and down the sides. And I stood there with my hands on my hips. I'm looking at them and sort of nodding my head, thinking, what the fuck am I going to do here? And all of a sudden I legged it. I ran. I've got everything thrown at me. I was covered in spit all over my hair, down my back, chest. Little cartons of drink filled up with dirt threw at me. As they hit, they just busted open. I was smothered in dirt and everything. When I got up into the dressing room, I was swearing like hell. The Spanish bastards, like this, that and the other, blah, blah, blah. The promoter comes up the stairs, looks at me with disgust. I walked straight up the other end where the Spanish wrestlers were. And he must have said to them, I couldn't understand a word of Spanish. He must have said to them, which bright spark told him to do that? They're all nodding their heads, going, not me, like, shaking their heads like, we're good. No. So he's come back to me and he said, Senor Johnny, you must leave now. I said, no, I could have a shower. No time, you must leave now. I went, look at me, I'm covered in all this. No, he's picked up my bag. He's going. I just managed to grab my towel off the top. Went, Jesus Christ, and put the towel around my neck, followed him downstairs. As he opened the door, there's a Black Maria. I went, whoa, what the hell is it? They take you to your hotel. I went, in that? I said, yes, it's best. I went, yeah, right. Now we're on the inner perimeter of the stadium. So we had to drive around inside to get to the big main double gates. And when we stopped at double gates, the van was being shook from side to side. I think some horrible sod has told the people where I am. They know I'm in that van. I thought, if this van does go over, those coppers who were in there with me are going to say, that's him, not us, and they're off. And they've got guns, I've got buck-shee, right? Luckily, those gates were opened, and we shot out. About 3/4 mile down the road, the main drag, was my hotel. I'm looking out the grill of the front of the wagon, and there's about 15 to 20 people standing outside of it. Oh, my God, right? They've left the stadium and got down to my hotel because they obviously knew where we were staying. Keep driving. We went about another mile up the road. I said, stop outside this bar that I used to go in and have a drink. Stopped. I jumped out. All I've got on is my bottoms, tracksuit bottoms. All right? Nothing on top. I couldn't put anything on top. I walked into the bar. The barman looked at me. I went, don't say a word. I went straight into the toilets, got to the sink and splashed water all over me to wash all this muck off. Then I sat there for about an hour, drinking slowly. Then I wandered up to my hotel. The following morning, the promoter picked us up and took us to a place called Kalela. The promoter came to me the following day in Kalela and said, Mr. Johnny, you must not go out by yourself anymore. You must always go out with other wrestlers, not by yourself. I said, yeah. Why is this? It's not safe. You must go out. I went, okay, fine, okay. So me and a couple of Germans and a couple of French guys used to take a walk. And it's funny to walk along the street and see a woman walking towards you with a kid and you look up and go, ah! And they see you and quickly run across the other side of the road. Not just old women and old fellas and guys. You go, oh, shit, look at it, it's him. I'm like, what the Met a Spanish wrestler with a newspaper. He says, Senor Johnny, see, look. And he looked at this, opened up the paper, and there's a big spread of me there, standing with foot down, with two hands up in the air, showing this sign. I went, oh dear. He says, you know what this make? I went, no, I don't. He says, you don't know what it's... I went, no. He says, this say that to people that the bull has made love to them. I went, the bull was, what? He said, the bull has made love to them. I went, so you're telling me that I'm telling them that the bull's made love to them? Yeah. He said, this one from the forehead, the bull's made love to their mother. I went, oh, fuck, no wonder, no, fuck me. And the first word I ever learned in Spanish was, I used to walking along the road and this guy standing in the shop doorway went, coño. Eventually I had to ask one of the Spanish lads what coño meant. And he went, you don't know? I went, no. He pointed down below, he says, a woman's. I went, oh, I see, yeah, right, okay. I've just been called up, yeah.
Oh, great story. I mean, what a time to be wrestling where you can get that much heat. It must be marvellous. Right, very quickly, because we could literally go on for hours here. How did you end up in Hawaii, Japan?
Ah, right. Japan was the first one. I was in Germany, and El Greco and myself wrote to Carl Gotch in America. He was the booker for Japan. And he actually booked us from Germany. It took a long time to get our visas. He lived in Germany, El Greco. Although he's Greek, he lived in Germany. But over here, I had to visit the Japanese embassy that many times. And I only got it about 4 days before we actually left for Japan.
What year was this? When would this been about?
Oh, bleeding hell. 75, 76.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was great. That was the first time out of Japan.
Can you remember which company he was working for? Can you remember?
Yeah. Anoki.
Oh, okay. He was New Japan, yeah?
Yeah, New Japan.
Awesome. Amazing. What about Hawaii?
Someone phoned me and wanted me to go to Korea and Hawaii. A few weeks later, I had a phone call from Pan Am. There's a ticket there for me. So I shot out to... and it was Billy that booked it and got me. When he phoned, he said, is everything okay? I went, yeah, great. I said, but the only thing is, I don't know what wages he'll get in. That's the problem. I've got to sort this out when I get there. And he goes, no, I've already arranged that. I went, and what have you arranged? And he told me, and I went, well, you're lucky you're not standing next to me. He says, why is that? I said, you would get one hell of a big kiss. It would have been more than I would have asked for. Yeah. Right? And it was lovely. I flew out to Anchorage, then flew on to Hawaii. I stayed one night in Hawaii. Then I had to fly off to Korea, which Billy met me in Korea. We done 3 weeks there, and then we flew back to Hawaii, and we had the one shot in Hawaii for Peter. That was lovely. That's where I met Rocky Johnson in Korea. We become best pals, really did. I met him again this year for the first time since then. Okay. Honestly, you've heard of comic.com?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I did that for a guy over here, and he said, I'm only putting you on it for one reason. And why is that? He said, Rocky Johnson's coming over. I went, is he? And he said, do you know a guy called Johnny Kincaid? And he said, yeah, I do. He says, well, you better book him, because if you don't book him, I ain't coming. And that was fantastic. When he saw me, I got a bit embarrassed, because he grabbed hold of me, picked me up, biting my neck and said, hey, Johnny, do you realise it's 30 years? 30 years since we started? I went, no, it's not. It's 33 years. And he goes, 33? God damn, that's a long time. I went, yeah, right. We stayed together for the 2 days, comic.com, and signing autographs and messing about. But when I left him on a Sunday, I had to make a promise that next year, 2016, I've got to go over to Florida, stay with him. He said, you can stay as long as you like, leave when you want to, bring the family.
Wow.
He said, my son might be there, because he comes and sees me at least once a month if, he's not doing film work. And
who's his son? Is he well known or something?
His son. His son. I should have slapped him then, because when in Hawaii, and where he was living at the time, Rocky had a villa looking over the Pacific Ocean, and he asked Billy and I to go up for a barbecue, and we did. He said, "You bring your trunks with you, your cozies." I went, "No." He said, "I've got plenty, which they fit, and it's okay." But his son kept dive bombing me, not by the side of me, on me. He was about 9 years old at the time, and I should have slapped him then because